Hello friends. Welcome to my new Java Enterprise Programming tutorial series video. Today, I will teach you how to send an email using Java Mail API in a Java web application. In this tutorial, we will create a Jsp page, a servlet and a stateless session bean. Web request will be coming to Jsp page, which will display a form. This form would be like an email client, which will ask user about the email address of the recipient, subject and the message he wants to send. There will be a submit button, which will forward form parameters to servlet. This servlet will extract those form parameters. It will then call stateless session bean, and pass those parameters in a method call. We will see it later. Stateless session bean will configure properties and send an email to the recipient address. Finally, servlet will send back response for the confirmation of message delivery. So friends, let's move to NetBeans and create this email client web application. In order to create a web application, go to File menu, and select New Project. New Project dialog box gets open. In the Categories list, select Java Web and select Web Application in the Projects list. Click Next. New Web Application dialog box gets open. Enter the name of the web application as Email Sender App. Click Next. Server and Settings section of the new web application dialog box gets open. We will select Glassfish Server as the server. Choose Java EE 7 as Java EE version. The context path of web application is /email sender app. Click Finish. In Projects tab, Email Sender App web application gets created. Open it. Let's create a Jsp page. Go to Root of Web Application, right-click New and click on Other. New File dialog box gets open. In the Categories list, select Web and select JSP in the File Types list. Click Next. New Jsp dialog box gets open. Provide file name as Email Client. Click Finish. Email Client JSP file gets created. Let's provide a title to it as Email Client. Let's say, we are developing a Jsp page for a user to contact us through email. So provide a heading as Contact Us. Let's create a form in the Jsp page. Create a form element. Inside form element we will create a table element. This table will hold recipient email address, subject, message and a submit button in a tabular form. Let's provide a row through tr element. This tr will hold two columns through td element. One td will be for label and other for its text box. Provide a label as to first td element. Place to label between b element to make text as bold. Align this column to right, by providing td element an align attribute, having value as right. Let's run this email client Jsp and see what it displays. It starts Glassfish server and deploys email sender app on it. It then runs email client JSP on browser. Let's copy and paste TD element for a text box. In second TD element, provide a text box through input element. Provide a type attribute to input element, having value as text. It signifies that it is a text box. Provide a name attribute as email. And also provide a size to be of 75 characters. This row conveys to user that enter recipient email address to which he wants to send email. Let's go back to browser and refresh the page. It displays a to label along with a text box with a 75 characters size. Let's copy full TR element and paste it for email subject. Provide a label as subject. Provide a text box with input type as text. Assign a name as subject and keep size 75 only. This row conveys to user that enter subject of email. Let's go back to browser and refresh the page. It displays a subject label along with a text box with a 75 characters size. Let's copy full TR element and paste it for email message. Provide a label as message. Assign a name as message. As message can be large, we provide a text area to hold email's message. Provide text area element. Provided a column size of 75. And also row capacity to be 6. That means it will displays a text area of 75 size and expanded to 6 rows. This row conveys to user that enter message of email. Let's go back to browser and refresh the page. It displays a message label along with a text area, having width 75 characters size and height as 6 rows. Let's copy full TR element and paste below, to provide fourth row for send button. Leave first TD element empty. In second TD, provide a submit button. And as it is a submit button, provide input type as submit. Provide a value to it as send. Let's go back to browser and refresh the page. After placing all above values, send button will forward it to Servlet for sending an email. Moving ahead, let's create a Servlet. It will extract email client JSP parameters and pass it to Stateless session bean for sending an email. In order to create a Java Servlet, go to Email Sender AppRoot. Right-click New and click on Other. New File dialog box gets open. In the Categories list, select Web and select Servlet in the File Types list. Click Next. New Servlet dialog box gets open. Provide class name as Mail, Dispatcher, Servlet. Provide a package name as com.hubberspot.servlet. Click Next. And click Finish. Mail dispatcher servlet gets created in the source packages, under com.hubberspot.servlet package. The mail dispatcher servlet has a URL patterns as /mail dispatcher servlet. When user clicks on send button, the request should be forwarded to mail dispatcher servlet. Let's go to email client JSP page, and provide a method and action to form element. Make it a post request through method attribute value. And provide an action value as mail dispatcher servlet. This will allow email client JSP page to know where the request has to be forwarded when send button is clicked. It will send request to mail dispatcher servlet. In process request method. Let's extract value for, to email, subject and message, from request parameters by their name. Moving ahead. Friends. For this tutorial, I have created a dummy Gmail account. With a dummy email ID, username and password. I will be using this email ID to send an email. Currently, it's empty. Going back to Servlet. We have to access this dummy email ID's credential. This will allow Java Mail API to connect with Gmail server, compose a message for us and send it to desired recipients. Usually, this is done by storing it in an external file, database or server properties. For this tutorial, I will hard-code it, to just give you an idea how it works. Create a string variable by name, from email, to hold dummy email address, that I have created for this tutorial. The email ID is, hubberspot.demo@gmail.com. Perform same thing for username and password. Username is, hubberspot.demo. And password is, dummy password. Moving ahead. Below we will add code for calling stateless session bean. I will do it after creating stateless session bean. We will see it later. For sending response back to user, let's change something what we discussed before. Provide a title as, mail status. Provide a heading as, mail status. Below heading, we display message as, mail sent successfully. along with a link to go back to email client.jsp. Let's run this servlet and see how it works. After sending mail to recipient, it displays message as, mail sent successfully. If user want to go back and send another email, he can use here link. Now let's go ahead and create a stateless session bean. This stateless bean will be responsible to send email to recipient. In order to create a stateless session bean, right-click on Email Sender app, and select New, Other. New File dialog box gets open. In the Categories list, select Enterprise Java Beans and select Session Bean in the File Types list. Click Next. New Session Bean dialog box gets open. Provide an EJB name, say, Mail Sender Bean. Go to Package and provide a package name as com.hubberspot.ejb. Select the checkbox for Stateless Session Bean. Click Finish. A Stateless Session Bean gets created. It has an annotation such as, @stateless. This session bean will have a method to process and send email to recipient. Let's create a method by name, send email. From the mail dispatcher servlet, we will pass 6 arguments such as from email, it will hold email address from which email will be sent. Username and password, for connecting to Gmail account and sending mail. To email, for holding recipient email address. Finally, subject and message that user wants to send to recipient. In order to send an email through Java Mail API, we have to configure few properties in java.util.properties instance. Create a properties instance through system.getProperties method. After creating instance of properties, we have to configure and put it with few properties. These properties are required to send an email. Let's type, copy-paste the code, and then understand each property one by one. For first property, we put key as mail.smtp.host and value as smtp.gmail.com, because our email account host is Gmail. For second property, we put key as mail.smtp.auth and value as true. This will do an authentication based on username and password. Provide mail.smtp port number as 465. As we want to send this email through secure socket layer. Therefore provide properties for its class, fallback and its port, as demonstrated. Thus, our properties got configured. Below we create a session instance through getDefaultInstance method of session class itself. It takes use of above created properties instance to get information such as mail server, ports, authentication, etc. We set debug as true, as this will allow us to debug session in process of mailing. In order to send and receive email messages, we have to create a message from Java Mail API, using the session we created above. This message instance is a MIME message, which is set to a text/HTML message. We will see it later. All above method arguments have to be set into this message instance. This will create a complete message for us to send across network. It has a setFrom method to set an email from which mail is to be sent. It takes in an address, which can be configured by Internet Address instance, by passing in, from email string. It throws an address exception. Let's wrap code with try block and catch super exception for now. It has a method to set recipients' email addresses. This method takes in an array of internet addresses, if we want to send mail across to groups. We have to set recipient type. It can be a CC mail, BCC mail or to mail. We use setContent method to set message text, which we want recipient to read. Provide content type as text/HTML. We then set subject of the message through setSubject method. Final step is to create a transport instance. Session created above is used to create a transport instance. Transport helps us in sending message through SMTP protocol. It helps us to establish connection to Gmail server through username and password. And finally, using its send message method we can send the email message to all recipients, which we set in above code. Let's go back to Mail Dispatcher Servlet. And call this send email method of Stateless session bean. In order to call Stateless session bean method, first we have to get reference of Stateless session bean. Using @EJB. We can inject the dependency for mail sender bean and use it to call send mail method. Just make sure all the arguments are passed in correct order. Let's go ahead and refresh email client.jsp. Suppose I use hubberspot.demo@gmail.com, email address to send a mail to same address only. So in this case, my from and to email address becomes same. Let's see it through a demo. Provide to email address as hubberspot.demo@gmail.com. I provide a subject and message as demonstrated. Finally, I click on Send button. You can see it has sent a message to same email address. As, to and from email address are same. But friends, you can use any to email address to send a mail. For this demo tutorial, I did it this way. You can also click on here link and go back and perform sending email to different recipient. It will work smoothly. So friends, go through this video 2 to 3 times so that how to send an email using Java Mail API in a Java web application concept gets more clear to you. Hope you like this video. Please give 1 minute to like, share, comment or subscribe my channel, or you can visit my website at www.hubberspot.com.